Kobe get preferential treatment? Yes or no?
Yeah, but they only
Does Tom Brady get preferential
they only
treatment?
have so many jackets. That's the whole issue. That's why those are reserved for the people that
They
come
were
off the
blowing
thing.
Louisiana Tech up at the half. It literally didn't matter. You could have just waited another 5 minutes.
No, for sure.
That's what I'm saying.
That would have been the resolution.
It
to
was
all
a
of us.
petty
Yes.
situation that the coach
Yes,
created.
For sure.
And Oliver wouldn't bother nobody before that. So what I'm saying is, just another case.
He took the bait.
College athletes,
He took the bait.
worry about yourself. Fuck the team and all this other shit. I mean, like, don't be a dick. By the way, Jeff Thomas of 89 Blocks fame, he was from East St. Louis, and his high school coach, everybody was having trouble with him because he was just lazy and shiftless, didn't work hard. But he already had a kid, and he was going through a lot of shit. Go watch 89 Blocks. LeBron James and somebody else help.
LeBron James is producing everything. Right
No,
now.
but he didn't it was somebody else. Goldie Taylor, actually, that was her.
No, but I'm just saying,
They took it from
LeBron's
her.
production company is literally in every.
But he didn't actually.
Everything coming out right now.
He just put his name on it, but Goldie Taylor did it first. But we all know what happened to Goldie Taylor. But anyway, yeah, in that case, he is no longer at the University of Miami. He was their leading receiver at Miami. He was the 8th overall receiver in the country a couple of years ago when he came out. He was a beast. Everybody's like, he's going to have a great year. He was having a pretty decent year. I mean, the Miami's QBs are trash, but he apparently had a fight with his receivers coach. And when I saw it, I was kind of disheartened because I was like, damn, I know kids like that who are just, they're headaches. There's always something going on with them. Like, yeah, he has a kid, he has a family he wants to support, and he wants to go to the NFL, but I'm afraid decisions like this is what spirals into damn. Now, remember that one athlete who was really great and could have been something, had he kept his head on straight in school and just stayed the course, he would have been great. But hopefully Jeff Thomas ends up at a receiver-friendly school where he gets a lot of yardage and gets some maturity and grows. But, yeah, Miami was the perfect spot for him. But I would love to hear what his high school coach has to say. Because if you watch 89 Blocks, it tells you everything that you need to know about Jeff Thomas. And then he was pretty much good, but he got suspended by Mark Richt for some off-the-field issues. And it's like, damn, man. I hate seeing that about really just athletes with God-given stupid ability, and then for whatever reason it doesn't work out. Because he torched LSU's defense even though they got blown out. So yeah, that's the other side of it for when it comes to athletes in college. But anyway, what else was on the docket for college? Did I get everything off?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, we don't really need to talk about the other stuff based off of time.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think that's it.
All right, man. So
that was all 5 things. Oh, shout out to the Citadel putting up more points against Alabama than LSU did and a bunch of other teams. They had 189 rush yards or something like that. And the dude was a freshman.
Damn!
all right, man. So let's get to
The shits.
let's get to
Let's
let's get to touchdown or turnover.
Dun, dun, dun.
But yeah, man, real quick. So this week, John Gruden, nobody's boy, compared
There we go.
Jalen Richard to Charlie Garner. Is that a touchdown or a turnover?
That's a touchdown, but I hate Charlie Garner, and you know why. We've had numerous arguments about this. Getting back to the Sporkle quizzes. Shout out to Andrew.
I'm gonna say it's a turnover because Richard is a little bit more undersized, and Garner was actually a full-time starter for a bit before
Garner
he came to the
faster.
Raiders.
Garner was much faster.
And I don't know if he drop punts like Richard does, which doesn't make sense because Richard actually has hands.
He has the yips.
But I think he just gets too excited.
He still thinks that DeAndre Washington is going to take a spot.
All right, man. Next one up. Derek Carr, my boy, pretty much said this week after the Raiders finally won a damn game, which pretty much gave the Cardinals the one-up for the number 1 draft pick, said he wants to keep winning over the next 6 weeks, and he pretty much wants to piss people off because he's going to mess up the draft stock.
Let's go 8-8. And then somebody said in a meme, in the group chat for FPS, they said John Gruden puts David Carr on injured reserve.
Derek Carr, yeah.
Derek Carr.
Pretty much. Is that a touchdown or a turnover?
Man, it's a touchdown, but it's like, Derek Carr came off as like that dude after a huge brawl where he didn't actually throw any punches. Is the one talking shit and selling the most wolf tickets. It's like, bro, shut up. It's over. Be quiet.
I'm gonna say it's a turnover.
Shout out to Khalil Mack.
I'm gonna say just shout out to Khalil Mack all day. You know what?
I might name my first son.
Shout
Khalil.
out to Khalil Mack.
I might name my son Khalil. Khalil Berry. That actually sounds like a dope ass name.
Anyways,
I like that.
I'm gonna say it's a turnover because you want to mess up the draft. How about you actually play good so you don't get traded and the Raiders don't take a QB number 2 overall?
That'd be stupid, but what if they traded him?
I'm telling you, basically off this whole game, man, that whole game I watched, Derek Carr played good, but he's just not getting us over the top.
What if they traded?
And the fact
Derek
that the
Carr
Raiders
to
have so many freaking holes across the whole like they
But that's
legit
their
need
fault.
2 receivers.
That's their
They need a
fault.
tight end because Cook's gonna be out.
They're gonna
They're gonna need a running back. So it's like
But
you
whose
might as
fault
well
is
trade
that?
Carr and start over.
Whose fault is that?
Not Carr, so trade him.
It's not Carr's, but like I said, I got the notebook. I showed you. Like Danielle Hunter's leading the league in sacks. I think Aaron Donald just passed him, but they passed on guys every year in the draft who could have at least at worst been depth players and now are end up being all pro guys in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds. They passed on guys. They built up this roster for what the coach wanted instead of let's get the best players available in this building and then find a coach who will coach and develop them. That's the same thing that has USC in trouble. All this talent, but nobody to coach. You have all this. You don't even really have a lot of talent with this Raiders roster. You did, but then you let the Mr. fucking egomaniac, Mr. American Psycho, Christian Bale, a.k.a. John Gruden, come in here with his ego and 10-year, $100 million contract and fuck up the whole scheme. Like, only in America. And this would never happen with a non-white coach, by the way. Ron Rivera couldn't get away with this shit. And let Ron Rivera do what John Gruden... Ron Rivera doesn't even have the power John Gruden has in Oakland. Think about that for a second.
Nobody has that power.
How idiotic do you have to be? And then you're going to... it's like, are you tanking for Vegas? Because that's what it looks like. They're tanking for Vegas.
All right, man. Enough time on that team. We've already
But
talked about them
I'm
too
tired of
much.
talking about the bum-ass Raiders.
All right.
They're not even my team anymore.
Golden Tate. Golden Tate.
Shout out.
One letter, one typo.
One word changes the sentence.
Autocorrect.
Woo!
But yeah, man, Golden Tate was traded to the Eagles earlier this season. He had like 500 yards when he got traded to the Eagles. Now I think in like 3 games he barely has like 200. And the offensive coordinator pretty much said, it's been hard integrating him. The Eagles are 4-6.
All the other receivers are trash, though.
They're on the way down. They just got smoked by the Saints, 45-9.
48-7.
So man,
No, because I have most.
Is Golden Tate on the Eagles? Is that a touchdown or a turnover this far? 3 games in.
That was a turnover, and it's mostly a turnover because Carson Wentz is playing bad and throwing the ball away. It's the same offensive line. It's a Super Bowl hangover, and Philly's gonna.
I agree with you, but I'm gonna add to the point.
Somebody else should have.
I'm gonna add to the point that the running backs aren't the same, and that was kind of a big.
The rookie Josh Adams.
Your
boy.
Yeah. But they're not running it like they were last year.
Yeah,
and I think that's part of wanting to rely on Wentz, your franchise QB, instead of
she threw horrible
getting
picks in
back,
the Saints game.
Getting back to what got you. It's like Carson Wentz being a gunslinger and running got you to your great 12-3 record or 12-4 record, whatever.
He's not a gunslinger though.
But I'm saying him managing the offense and being the point guard.
They were
essentially
12-2 when he got hurt, I think.
They got you that far, but what won you the Super Bowl was pounding the football, being kind of gadgety,
and spreading
and
the
playing
ball.
a great defense, and not playing great defense, but making great defensive plays.
Pressure.
Yeah, and they just haven't done that.
Picks because they're giving up a lot of big plays on defense. But the biggest thing is with Philly is like you need to functionally pass the ball around, and Alshon Jeffrey's playing hurt. Zach Ertz didn't really get the ball. It's just like the play calling, it isn't really there. It's just not there. Wentz is probably, I don't know. They don't want to bring in Foles because you don't want to bring in Foles and mess up the chemistry, but like something needs to happen because Wentz is playing bad. And this is just a bad year for Philly, and it's okay. You won a Super Bowl last year. Nobody expected you to win a Super Bowl last year. So you know what? If you got to have a down year, so be it.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they came out
I think
of nowhere.
Dallas is going to end up winning the division.
Maybe Philly should just stop
Dallas is going to win the
making
division.
so many headlines in the offseason because it just jinxed them.
No.
Like, they should have a cap of, like,
that dude
blockbuster
that dude eating horse shit is what I knew. Oh, the Eagles are going to suck next year. Shout out to everybody at the Good News who are Eagles fans. Just wanted to shout y'all out for a second.
They're all Rams fans now. All right, man. So let's move to Take or Tangent, pretty much. First one I wanted to get to, your boy, your GOAT, Adrian Peterson.
I thought you were going to say Vince Staples, but yeah.
There's a long piece on Bleacher Report magazine you can read about, essentially talking about AP's comeback. He's currently 7th in rushing yards, over 700 yards.
He's like 5th all time.
Most of them coming
touchdowns.
in his first game, but nobody talks about that. But yeah,
actually,
besides
no. He had 1 touchdown. First off,
besides
he has 7 rushing touchdowns, and he's had two rushing touchdown games, and he's gone over 100 yards twice this year.
That's it, twice. But yeah, all right.
But he averages like almost 5 yards a carry.
That's not the point. Anyway,
you can
leave that for your take or tangent. Can I get to the headline?
I'm saying you're being very unbalanced.
Pretty much, the magazine talks about how
Don't
Adrian
say MAGA
Peterson.
in my presence.
It's called Bleacher Report magazine.
No, but I was joking. I was saying
yeah.
in my presence. You could have just like ran with it.
Yeah. Anyways, Adrian. Pretty much the whole basis of the article was Adrian Peterson hasn't changed. His game prep is the same. He still thinks he's the GOAT. And one of the angles on it was,
he made Father Time his bitch?
No. He hasn't changed his perspective on spanking his kids. Pretty much really still doesn't think he did anything wrong. He basically broke it down and said, when I, hit my kid with a switch, it was a routine hitting, but I noticed, I messed him up. He didn't cry. None of my kids cry because they have my blood in them. They're tough. They can deal with that. But, I looked at it afterwards and I was like, well, it kind of messed him up. So, I sent him back to his mom in Minnesota. She took him to the doctor. The mom was like, that might flag you for child abuse. And he was like, yeah, but it's for the best for him to get looked at. And so that pretty much sparked everything. Then he kind of copped a plea because he thought the NFL would go easier on him and he just kind of get rid of it. Still didn't really think he did anything wrong, which ended up hurting him in the long run because that's why he did get suspended for so long, because Roger Goodell wrote in the letter, you showed no remorse for any of your actions.
And who the fuck is Roger Goodell to tell somebody how to parent?
Anyways, you can get to that on your thing.
No, I just don't like Roger Goodell, but okay.
Nobody does. Point is,
no, people like him.
He says, 9 times out of 10, he tries to avoid spanking, but it's necessary. So, do you have a take or a tangent on Adrian Peterson really still spanking his kids after all he's been through?
I would take, because I've talked to my mom on multiple occasions.
Which this is actually a reflection of the whole South.
This is a generational thing.
They did a poll on it, and like 60% of the people in the South, which would be like Texas to Florida, pretty much agreed with AP.
Don't be fooled. My mom grew up in West Oakland, and my grandparents whooped her ass too.
Yeah.
This is a generational thing, and it goes back to people being too soft and being offended by everything and thinking their opinion usurps something that goes on in somebody else's house. And I feel like it's such a third rail topic that people keep trying to think they can control it. It's like, no, that's not something you have control over. You need to just understand that societally there was a time where people used to pummel the shit out of their children.
Yeah.
Pain is a wonderful reminder of what not to do. It's true. That's why I got into a lot of fights when I was a kid, because you teach people how to treat you. If somebody just treats you like shit and disrespects you and walks all over you, and you don't let it happen, then it's known that that's how they're going to treat you until you, I don't know, beat the living shit out of them. And then it's funny how people change differently.
All right. Well, this isn't about you.
No. No, you're missing my point. You're missing the bigger point.
Yeah, you're right.
But I'm saying physical violence is needed on some level. And I've even had this inner turmoil, like, would I beat my kids? I don't think I would, because I don't think I'd need to. But if I had to, I'd be like, shit. I feel bad. But like I remember I did